Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
South Africa there.
And South Africa.
Yes.
So MTN use organ here, South African company. Okay, Nigeria also use MTN. Okay, other countries like Zimbabwe and then as if they are all using MTN. And they have other companies here as well in Ghana, likewise in other African countries. But Innocent, this is not the first time we are experiencing this or we are seeing this.
Yes, I think it's
and why no page
xenophobic attack in South Africa, abaya some sort of an annual ritual.
Yeah.
And the day we are seeing a ninadri who sa ne mana to Mr. Sabia young crisis. Say you baby do this stage. Modernity I bring along a lot of stuff. And a man for bet me sorry a gina nipa ko bi abo mo maimu, and for that particular reason timamo no at the rush of they are chasing people out. It's really embarrassing, and I think that the South African government, I don't know why over the years they've sat aloof for some of this nonsense to happen. Because
at the way, of course, we said they can Amphibia Mikai, there was a time about that is 3-4 years ago. One to say Nigeria for so SCC a stores a boo be near the look at the way I'm Ghanaian Nana Kwano Monam so Denefa. Can we also say the leaders of Africa have failed to unite to bring everyone and each everyone African on board? Say the baby who was ye before and ye will a bibre man yen try say you bet me contain each other.
Yeah, I think the answer about how crowd. So on this particular way, like I said 2 years ago, this last year. Now I think that there were few skirmishes and people who are leading William Panufua on what's in South Africa. They know the story, the history behind South Africa. You see, most of the countries in Africa in their independence, we are not still apartheid. Are very active in South Africa. It took the concerted effort of all African nations to come together, put pressure and resistance, and sana apartheid. It me are left from South Africa. South Africa in their independence somewhere in 1994. That day has been named Freedom Day. That particular freedom no munya no. Africa ha obia play role, including the African Union and the so-called ECOWAS. So obia can be and some even musicians among for asking South Africa to be freed. So if there is any country in our part of the world, among for other countries that play very instrumental role in its quest to gain freedom and independence, South Africa. So that particular knowledge at the back of their mind, I think and no crown will be enough for them to obia can say illegal immigrant. Okay, America, Donald Trump taking all measures that will ensure that people don't come in. But Obian why Agnesia Bontin, so yeah, Bonona, yeah, the second tribunal, and nobody we said such act a barbaric act. Yeah, you don't expect a civilized nation like South Africa to be executing such nonsense on screens. You see some of these things on TV. It's really embarrassing. And for me, I wonder why. Because in the past, now see, any punitive sanctions we are standing to be a punish you be and into a best scare will be. You understand? Yes, mine are team no be no back and improve from Quantan. It's not possible.
Might be any we are secret one Nippers, our mom feel minimum quantity.
And Nigerians, one thing about them say they're very business people. I don't come and I'm so more doors, not assassin Santino. They travel a lot. Yeah, there are some who go with export a lot of nonsense away, but there are those who also go in genuinely do their business. And they thrive. And Nipana Wabano, they've come to your country with some foreign investment. I think that must be respected. Because Nipana Diabano or what to grow the economy. Say Nipano more and even Nipano Ninkrata Kran Wabo Mainuma. It is not in your place as an ordinary person, I walk on the street to confront somebody say no who Ghana and say who knew who as an ordinary person and documents away. Yeah. It is the job of the security and the immigration services and so for our best. But if you get to this particular point that citizens can begin to do some of this there are South African nationals in other countries. So what are you expecting? Say for instance, Ghana and Nigeria so sorry for reprisal attacks in Nasafona. MTN companies in us for Amafo can even do the same thing because almost Nigeria for and Ghana for and other countries. You have almost businesses in us for but MTN Ghana, MTN whatever, there that should be the mother company, is South African way,
South Africa.
Even though other people investment in us, but one of their political parties and then the investment in South Africa. We are one of the biggest shareholder in way. And the amount focus on who go the same way they say. I think that they must begin to grow because South Africa, and I think that local mindset because that is the only reason.
Someone was also saying, say, Ivan, you see, during the apartheid, SMBC, now some way see they say, yes, now we are South Africa, now we Bema, now and Bema no, Sebio, nurse for the midwife, we are broth until you come, said you see what Bible, my most is the enemy. And in Bema and Casa, ye and no so. And then Bema is one said that Uncle School and near Juma Papa Bia. And if you know, when I was South Africa, you were Musumis, why you two moka. Oh, Mbado one ye should do Tuaoka. I can do 18 years, Okuta Ghana card, Uko Salide, Okat. Now call bank, now you Tuamunaka, if we could be account, Sa Pepe. And so people are of the view, South Africans know are of the view, say, Ghana phobia, but Nigeria phobia, but Zimbabwe phobia, cry no more the same block, no crano, but on one beji, Juma, Kakrane, Wahano, no air, and to one and court one chrome. But looking at steps South African government, it seems to say he's not helping. It's not. Yeah.
And America say and it is global embarrassment because when some of these things are shown, you see what people don't get in say America is where it is today because of migrants.
Yeah,
that is something Donald Trump is not getting. I'll get it because America was created. You place it at the center of the world that the best from every country they are ready to accept that.
Yeah,
and it's all called Hollywood. Actors no more GD are the best from various countries and for Hollywood and all aspects beyond because you are able to aggregate the finest brain around the world to grow your country. Yeah, there are some people who come illegally or whatever, but you should use your legislation, internal government machinery, to stop that or to curtail that. But it is not in the place of ordinary South Africans to wake up and say, Nigeria ni na wababa business no woti kroma na to eden. And
apart from armed robbery.
Omo mpa adwuma.
Ene e bra obebro wonye hwe.
Ene ye ade ba ko a eye signature way a your friends saying unim about South Africa. There is no single day etuo ento our South Africa. And I have friends who travel there and what them ko na abonte ko timbe attack jijo phones so na support them. So it's one of the most insecure place. There are places I mean where the channel crowd member. But you see for whatever reason people
we are fixing this continent. This thing of you guys moving from one country to the other, I suspect it's no longer working. We don't want this as African people anymore. We are tired of seeing African migrants moving all over the world, refusing to fix your own countries. Now we're making it very clear to you guys, Utitina, we don't want you here. We want you to fix your countries. Now you came here with a traveling document. You came with a passport. You know that you are a visitor, but now you decided to come and integrate in our communities. You know very well that what you have done is wrong.
How many children do you have here?
And that is
we can come to Ghana and do what you're doing.
Passport.
Now you are carrying your bucket. It's 11 a.m. You are supposed to be fighting the government of
strategic messages to ensure there will be a certain policy we engineer and a bit deal with some of these things because these are criminal things. I bet me a man before mobile so Nigeria can do the same thing to South Africans around the world. Because there are South Africans in America, there are South Africans everywhere around the world. What are they saying? About your business, should people sack them? It doesn't even make sense. So I think the government should wake up from its ass in South Africa and begin to realize, are there no more, they are only endangering the life of their people and businesses outside South Africa. Ghana Hayati. Oh, you mentioned MTN, ShopRite, South African, Absa Bank, all these things. So Ghana for us say we are shutting down these institutions at the NBC.
Ivan, my young call, na yan share infonini bi. Tiudiabra, na beshe infonini bi niya ekoso South Africa. Atitia omode other nationals, FM nibi, enubi NIA chegu screens national, anti bra. Na unsu shebi na fe yen try enkomo die no so
fixing this continent. This thing of you guys moving from one country to the other, I it's no longer working. We don't want this as African people anymore. We are tired of seeing African migrants moving all over the world, refusing to fix your own countries. Now we're making it very clear to you guys, Utitina, we don't want you here. We want you to fix your countries. Now you came here with a traveling document, which you came with a passport. You know that you are a visitor, but where now you decided to come and integrate in our communities. You know very well that what you have done is wrong.
How many children do you have here?
We can come to Ghana and do what you're doing.
Passport.
Eh? Now you are carrying a bucket. It's 11 a.m. You are supposed to be fighting the government of Ghana there to ensure.
Activists to say innocent. Ivan Etienne Moa Chi Wakan Sempa Buano, where the youth activists in South Africa. And I said Babunu Kutupa, Samumbuan, Mompamuan. Look at Kwani and Namswa just 12 hours ago. Ya boobi. Now you said them Hana you who be a South African be. Now you two channels so you bonus ana. What is going to happen? And now South African you may wahano say you kwa. Now because okay, young closely that we don't want to have anything to do with that of South Africa. And the Amsterdam can call MTN and call ShopRite. Nena Sifo, ye perceive who or my more. What will happen? What will happen? Youth activists, you know, and they say you to no kutupa. Say one of them decides some phone, one of them you know.
Yeah, so I think the lady in the video, this is a criminal who should be behind bars. Because I don't miss a no, who knew who going to confront people on the Ghana. How you share Nigeria for? But can you meet a Nigerian and ask him about his documents and then as a forum? Because the person ideally should have gone through migration, whatever process of xenophobia. And so at least you suspect say nipa no quite any documents on them. The best you can do is to report the person to the authorities, so that the authorities will take action. And some no African nations should fix their country. And yes, it's something tried. Africa is a broken nation. Then as for now, people are trying to fix. But in South Africa now, how fixed is not South Africa? The same challenges other countries are going through. They are going through the same thing. And South Africa, to a certain extent, is even worse than as a forum. Because they will not be chasing people on the street doing some of these things. So fixing Africa now, across Africa, they require fix, which includes South Africa. But South Africa, in as much as people think the place is better, it's not better than any other African country. It's the same thing. So South Africa now can here a fix. But I think that it's leadership failure on our part of the world, Africa, and I think that is the reason why some of these things happen.
When you say leadership failure, is there anything you expect, say, leaders in the bay?
Oh, some of these things, decisive action Ben you take here in the past to keep some of this nonsense. Nothing was done. So I know the day, the people feel vindicated in their actions. It's some sort of a civil action they will take for their own emancipation, which is not true. But my culture, you trace it back the history of South Africa. And yet, other African nations in Nima and Kenya, everyone has to and Kwasmase. On my motive, there is this huge segregation within the country. The actual South Africans, are not even free. Because there are schools and they're white, our school, some particular segregation, still, even though and yet over it there, but still exists. So if there is anything to fight, they should fight for or more within the country. How are these people have taken over their country? Some of them have been marginalized. Are the black race in the black communities, into armed robbery, prostitution, this kind of nonsense. You see on the street and then as a forum. So if there is a country that required to be fixed, South Africa, and America said no more Nyansa and Kanhubi. Because anybody with expanded intellectual horizon who appreciate it, say the Omoya in South Africa, other people can do the same thing. Yeah. Because Nigeria money didn't change the Omoto. So just imagine say Nigeria for to see. But then I'm some more responsible government in anytime you are saying South Africa, you don't hear any reprisal attack in Nigeria. And Ghana, when they acquire Sadia, because you who say in class, but and you be in a form come alive for her because the would be typical South African. That is how they are. Ubuntu kind, and some sort of a local way that is what they think is the best for them. South Africans don't travel.
Yeah.
It's the reason why they find it some sort of way intrusion when they see people coming in as a foreigner. But I'm saying, sir, the government of South Africa must rise. The reason why I don't want to talk about Africa has failed is that even Africa, yes, America, still people will travel. And then people travel for various reasons.
Yeah,
tourism, several reasons. So even though Ghana can be as rich as America and also whatever, still we have Ghanaians and Nigerians traveling. That's America for Ghana.
Yeah.
So that argument is that people are traveling to other countries. Now when they are serious person or mine to or not just South Africa. People go there for reasons. You understand? So you should be grateful to people who have chosen South Africa. Because there are other better places they could have gone, like Europe, but they have decided to come in with their investment. Nigeria, for them, took away. Normally, their business people, when they begin to do some of these things, they try. And I'm told, say, some of their big cities now, most of the big malls are owned by some of these Nigerians, foreigners, They see every day, say, they are thriving. And when they begin this nonsense, what they do is they will first invade your shop. And then later the police will come and nothing will be done. People are not being compensated. Go to the pastor and check. None of them was compensated. Nobody was prosecuted. It means the government, indirectly or directly, is behind some of this nonsense happening. Because I haven't even seen any, a conscious statement via enough. A South African government is sending to other neighboring countries who are going through some of these things just to assure them, say, your citizens in this particular country are safe. Because Ghana, so that's what is spelling Nigeria for. Nigeria, other countries begin to do the same thing. What do you think will happen in Africa? It's barbaric. And people should not stimulate the conversation that they are doing this because other countries have failed. No. Say Ghana to say America, still you have people travel for various reasons, and nobody has the right or any justification to attack or beat. So I buy the money, even so need document. Even if the person doesn't have documents, the best you can. Europe, they'll go and report you. What I say? They'll go and report you. Say now, nobody will come and drag your ass. Say look at this embarrassing thing. And no in this civilized world, and the South African government is sitting aloof, allowing these idiots to be doing some of this nonsense. I feel so embarrassed, so outraged about some of these things because the first time na Asia, okay, something different. The previous one Asia, the so-called Ohene, and now leading this nonsense.
Yeah.
In the end, what happened? What I said?
Yeah.
And you see, they must begin to realize that other African countries can take the same steps.
Yeah.
Now, you say, they will have a lot to lose. But MTN, if something happens, Ghana for sorry, Nigeria for because most of their customers are in Nigeria. Are you aware, sir? MTN Sika
Nigeria.
It is because of the population. ShopRite, how long have they been operating in Ghana? Absa Bank at the Barclays Bank. Baby Barclays will be Absa Befabia. It's a South African way. Just imagine people begin to set it ablaze enough, just like this idiot are doing in South Africa. Do you think what will happen? So I think that their government has failed. And if they want to be an isolated country, then they need to pull all their investment back to South Africa, and then other African countries also pull out. And then I don't know who said South Africa is an isolated country. They don't want anybody in. But as long as they extend their businesses beyond the frontiers of South Africa to other countries, especially African countries, more businesses are people working here. No, same courtesy must be extended to other people. So Ghana new or Honor officer only document. Now, and as an illegal person, the best thing you can do, go and report the person to the authorities. Who assume on a namha. On the tourist visa, while stay, and please take the person away. You have no right to attack anybody. And I think I feel so embarrassed about South African government. Say, oh no, a country that has benefited so much from the benevolence of the world, especially Africa. Man for sacrifice, a binuma tonyum, a binuma apartheid, a one near conferences, a binuma just to secure independence for them. And today they turn around to pay us back with this nonsense. I feel embarrassed. I expect the government to do something better than what they are doing because you see, these people are energized doing this nonsense because the government has allowed them. Do you think that in Ghana, somebody can just wake up and do something?
No.
And the state security will allow you. No. Nigeria, for Chrome, prostitution and as a form no. It is the immigration that has been going after them.
Yeah.
Officially, no Ghanaian. Now, do you know that some of the nonsense we see people doing in this country? But when we say Ghana, Nia sorry, so Kwakwachi will be that. But me say Nigeria, Nia by our one so every a panties and Kwan, I be a minute things that about the advertising prostitution in public. But Ghana are always restrained from doing some of this nonsense. We leave it to the security. Say this is their job. But when it get to a point where citizens will move in, chasing people out, and I am some belong to the civilization era. Probably some of these barbaric acts, have no space in modern society, and I expect the world to condemn this nonsense happening in South Africa. Abaya norm, omoya normal for Mwedi, omoya normal for Mwedi, because nobody is saying so they think they have the legitimacy to use this nonsense as a tool to intimidate people. And as a forum, people can equally clap back at them. And I've listened to the foreign affairs minister about some of these, and I think that at the diplomatic level, there must be swift just to send a loud message to the South African government. Said, as long as they sit aloof and allow this idiot to perpetrate this nonsense against innocent citizens, Ghana government and other African governments, can do the same thing. And I wonder why UN and ECOWAS are silent about some of these things. Because UN and as Anema way Koswa and can call for emergency. Your friends say UN, your friends meeting. I'm expecting that some of these things nonsense here, and UN,
which might even lead to sanctions.
Exactly, AU are convening because this is not the first time. So what the hell is AU sitting there doing and allowing this nonsense to happen? How they wear TV so or be investment in a trade to near Shino. I say Chrome. No, be a corny chroma and how do business abesia. Oh, don't know any answer. To Quantino. Time class beginning on the war muting or modern South African and 7 or Moody. I think we must begin to send loud message to them, loud and clear. Say enough of their nonsense. Look at this barbaric. How can Kwabran Nipana wo born or no? Or no, they are not hitting you back. Nipan innocent person. And I buy a bunny party. I said, that's some grass we are cost I think it's really annoying.
It's annoying.
Governments need to tell them that if they continue doing this nonsense, because they will see, trust me, a basic because they do this nonsense, nobody does a thing about it. They treat other countries with this sort of disdain.
It's like an annual ritual.
Exactly. Now, what you know more, brother? Foreigner, no? Do you know what it takes to travel from your country to other people's country to survive? Do you know what it takes to do that? Nigeria for no more about more business, The Ghana how more way, no. Not all the phone covers. And it's hard day way or the number.
Peace near there.
After 2 years, we see another shop. After 3 years, we're not an importer. They are good when it comes to some of these things. There are some who do those nasty stuff. But you see, we cannot combine all of them and treat them this way. My cultures are more prostitution and other way. The best thing you can do is to report them. But you as a person, you cannot go and attack a person. You understand? Because there are a lot of Ghanaians in Nigeria. They're everywhere. And you see, a mind back home to crime because of their population. Nigeria. I'm told that Africa,
I don't do a Europe, any US,
and Nigeria. They travel a lot, and when they travel, they school. I never come with him say Nigeria for two kwanya. I want Ghana for two kwanya. Ghana the nuko drop and time be sit down. I will buakwa and I say be a sunyan baby man. Na busi anfo akase wo koye no.
Nigeria for
no go to school. And by the time I realize no about medical doctor and a lawyer. And this kind of would ho den bra obenyana na or not the one day.
Or not the najene.
What I say, they are very smart when it comes to some of these things. There are others who do some of these things. So I blame the Nigeria, I blame the South African government. And I think that the Ghanaian government, other African countries, are not doing enough. And it's the reason why they have this luxury to be doing this nonsense on daily basis. So you can't more attracting or more say if they continue this nonsense, South African companies also will be shut down. I think that they will learn their lessons and yes, in some way.
All right, may that say Ivan innocent Cheino.
Mamena PENDREAM TV now so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.